Welcome, dear friends, to the 62nd class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying chapter 8. In the last class, we studied from shlokas number 12 to 16, and let us revise them first, as is our ritual. So in shloka number 12, Krishna says to Arjuna, he who closes the 9 gates of the body, who cloisters the mind in the heart, who fixes the full life force in the cerebrum, he who thus engages in the steady practice of yoga, establishing himself in Om, the holy word of Brahman, and remembering me, the spirit, at the time of his final exit from the body, reaches the highest goal. So we know that 12 and 13 have been dealt together, but let's discuss one by one. What are the salient points that have been said in shloka number 12 by Krishna? Point number 1, he talks about sense control. That means closing the 9 gates of the body is the body is the fort, and the 9 gates are the opening for the senses. And therefore, the first advice through this shloka is that we must practice sense control so that whatever energy is getting wasted going outside of the body into this world of sense objects and the temptations, we are stopping that by the closure of these gates. And Master told us here that Jyoti Mudra is that technique, that part of the Kriya Yoga technique, wherein the yogi learns to close his senses and then go inwards and point his energy towards the cerebrum. The second part of this shloka, the advice Krishna gives is that the mind is cloistered in the heart. That means, again, an inward turned mind rather than outward. And centered in the heart also means that the element of devotion, the element of the natural love of the heart has to be brought forth. And also a third meaning can be when we say the heart of things is not necessarily the physical heart or the astral heart. It means the central point of your own being, the very core or the essence of your existence, which is the Atman. The third point that is said here is that prana is directed towards the cerebrum. And we know that by breath work, by meditation, and especially by Kriya Yoga technique, this is what we are taught as to how we can not only prevent the prana from going outwards from the body to the world, but how we can consciously bring it in and reverse its flow in the spine towards the brain. The fifth point that has been mentioned here is deep concentration or dharana. It says the yogi is now one pointedly prepares himself to unite his consciousness with divine consciousness. And then comes the liberation. So if we are following all of this in shloka number 12, then we are able to not only prepare ourselves, but we are going to move into liberation. How? By listening to the shloka number 13, which talks as Om as the name of Brahman. So here the concept of Om has been brought in, which is the pranava, which is the cause of all creation, which is the cosmic sound, which is the cosmic light. And here we are told that if we unite ourselves with the single syllable Om, which represents the Brahman, and what also Krishna says is remember me in spirit at the time of your passing. So two important concepts in shloka number 13 is the association of Om as the name of God or as a representation of Brahman, and how that we must unite our consciousness with Om. If you want to go towards cosmic consciousness, then Om is that bridge. Om is the Holy Ghost. Om is that light and sound which we can connect with within ourselves and then transcend all worldly levels of existence. The second point again has been it has been mentioned in many previous shlokas, but again Krishna is saying you must remember me at the time of passing. So again we are told about the importance of our level of consciousness. What is our consciousness at the time when we are going to leave this body? When the body is being dropped, where is our mind going to be? And of course, this directly and indirectly indicates a whole lifetime of practice in which we have practiced all these things like listening to the Om, merging to the Om, single pointed devotion, single pointed concentration, taking the prana to the cerebrum. If we have practiced all of these things during life, then at the point of death, the final exam, we will be able to center ourselves where Krishna wants us to center, and then we will attain that final liberation that has been promised. In shloka number 14, now this is a very sweet shloka because here Krishna says to Arjuna, he says, "Oh Arjuna, I am easily reached by that yogi who is single-hearted, who remembers me daily, continually, his mind intensely focused on me. So here, not only at the point of death, Krishna is saying clearly, I can be easily reached if you remember me daily and continually. And that is why the word Ananya Cheta has been used in this shloka. Because Ananya Bhakti means not in love with anything else. Anya is something else. Ananya is nothing else. So your heart, your mind, your strength, your soul, your being, your prana, everything has to be God directed if you are looking for final liberation. And I've read somewhere where Yogananda says that God is a possessive God. He wants to possess you completely. He cannot, he doesn't like it, if your attention is somewhere else, if you're distracted, if you're restless, if you have this desire, this attachment, that attachment, and you are not focusing on him, he doesn't like it. He's like that great lover who cannot tolerate if the beloved is thinking of something else, talking of something else. So he is like, he's possessed by us, and he's possessed by the thought that we, his children, should love him with Ananya Cheta, means not thinking of anything else and just offering our entire being to him. And that is exactly now again a parallel from the Bible, where the first commandment that Jesus Christ gives is that love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy strength, and with all thy soul. Same thing Krishna is saying, that if you want to be liberated, if you want to transcend all the suffering of our life, then we must follow this. And then he says, I'm easily achievable. If you do this, I'm all yours. Because actually we are made of God, the God substance. We are walking gods, in the sense we are all, that the substratum of us and the Lord is one and the same. It's just that because of we are temporarily in a world frequency in which there are so many temptations, we are working through our senses, we are working through a limited mind, and therefore we are kind of got lost in this frequency. But if we want, by the magic wand that the Guru, he strikes us with a magic wand on the hand, and he says, wake up, where are you lost? Where are you going? You are that infinite light. But if you want to go back to your source, then you must develop the love of your heart and the focus and the yam and the niyam, and we know the entire other path that is there. So we have to do all of this. But if we do not want liberation, then we can do whatever we feel like. We can indulge in likes and dislikes. We can go out into the world and follow our temptations. And then again, what will happen? So much karma will develop that we have to, come back to point zero, to a universal mathematics. Unless that happens, we will not be able to rest in our own true self, which is the pure Atman, which is bliss. Okay. And also in this shloka, so when God is saying, that you must think of me all the time, for a Kriya Yogi, what does this mean? Or for a, a meditator on the path of Raja Yoga, what does this mean? Remembering God all the time is possible only when we meditate. So when we are meditating, what happens is our consciousness expands. We feel that peace, we feel that bliss. Now, as we meditate regularly, on a continuous basis and sincerely, then our expanded consciousness is carried over when we perform our daily tasks. So whatever task we may be doing in the day, suppose we have meditated very well in the morning, we know that that day can easily go, in great peace we can do all our tasks. So just being in the peace of the Lord that we have attained by communion with him in meditation and doing our daily activities is remembering God all the time. So for them, there may be people who may be doing Nam Jap all the time. There may be people who are doing mantra chanting all the time. For Kriya Yogis, it is that communion and that feeling of expanded consciousness that they carry into their daily life. And of course, the other things can also be combined with this. If you are doing this, then you are thinking of God all the time. You are practicing the presence of God all the time. And that's what Yogananda ji said, that Kriya Yoga is practicing the presence of God in the best way, in the highest way, and in the fastest way. This is the airplane route to God. Then in shloka number 14, he says, my noble devotees, having obtained me, spirit, they have achieved supreme success. They incur no further rebirths. in the abode of grief and transitoriness. So in shloka number 15, he has used two words which we analyzed last time. One is dukkhalyam and the other is ashashvatam. So he says that this place where we are all living right now is the abode of grief. It is full of dukkha, and because it is ashashvatam means it is transitory, it is impermanent. Therefore, it is not the final place of resting. We will never find supreme peace here, and one must try to get out of this. And that's what he says, that all those who have achieved that supreme goal through meditation and through my remembrance and have achieved oneness with spirit will be able to go beyond this dukkhalyam and ashashvatam, and they will not be needed to be reborn again. Okay, so just a small analysis of why impermanence gives us sorrow is because suppose there's something you like. Suppose you're having a nice fancy life and you have all the things that you want, but the problem is nothing of that is going to stay. Even if you have built a lot of wealth, overnight that can be taken away from you. Even if you have worked with your good health and body, even the health can be stolen away. In a moment it can change. A cataclysm can come, an earthquake can come, anything can come in a moment of a second, and that can change your entire life. Whatever you have built with so much hard work can be destroyed in a moment, and that is why permanence can bring you sorrow anytime. So we do not know that when we sleep at night, today, whether we will get up tomorrow morning or not, even that we are not sure of. And if we get up in the morning, the safety of the world that is right now, is it going to be the same or not? Some like wars are happening. What happens when suddenly a bomb shell just drops over your house and you have nothing to call your own? So that is why transitoriness or impermanence, it just is very, very painful. And it is when you're living this life, it is your way to just cling on to what you like. In simple things like a human relationship. Suppose you have fallen in love with another person and you're so attached to that person, you're clinging to that person, and you think that all your happiness in your life is coming from that person. But all that scenario can change at a moment's notice. Not only because the person can maybe just leave you at some point, but even that, if that doesn't happen, death can take that person away. And all that thing that you thought that your happiness was coming from there will suddenly be broken. You will suddenly be shocked, and it will really, really pain your heart. So it is always good to remember that impermanent things can never give you fulfillment. They give pleasure for some time, yes. No, there's no negating that fact, but that pleasure can easily turn into pain when your object of clinginess is suddenly taken away from you. And also the other side of this is disliking. There are certain things that you dislike and you have tried to keep them away from you, but suddenly they can come into your life again. So, just like you don't like a particular person, you don't like a boss, and you think, okay, let me change my job. So you very, very meticulously plan that I will not have that kind of person in my life. But karma is supreme. The same person or multiplied manyfold you will find in another office as well. So whatever you like will be taken away from you. Whatever you dislike will be brought in front of you. And this impermanence will go on, and it will keep giving you sorrow unless you learn to rise beyond your likes and dislikes and really come to fix yourself in the permanent truth rather than these impermanent things. And it is very difficult, not easy to practice at all. But if we do not practice this, then we will not be free from pain and suffering. And the Gita is here to help us rise beyond our suffering. Firstly, let us understand why we are suffering. Only then we will want to get beyond it, and then we will do whatever Krishna is telling us, or Buddha is telling us, or Christ is telling us to do. In shloka number 16, Krishna says that yogis not yet free from the world revolve back again to this world, even from the high sphere of Brahma. But on entering into me, the spirit, there is no rebirth, O Arjuna. So here, many important points are being pointed here, that all worlds are impermanent. Even if your world gets better and better and better, even then, as long as there is duality, till then there is always this possibility that you come back to this sphere of, of suffering and misery. So the only permanent refuge is spirit, is merging our human consciousness into Krishna consciousness or into Christ consciousness or divine consciousness. That is the only way of attaining permanent peace. And so here, a hidden message also here is that one should not seek heavenly pleasures. One should seek permanent liberation. And we know the story of Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni, it is said that the heavenly chariots came to take him to heaven, and he said, but tell me, what is the advantage of going to heaven? And of course, that person, he said that, oh, no, you will have all beautiful things you will materialize your thought, and everything will be so beautiful. At your will, you will find those worlds. And then he said, what is the disadvantage of such a heaven? And the person says that when your karma is finished, you have to come back to this world. And unless you work your way out of this with full final liberation, then till then the cycle is going to repeat. And therefore the saint, what did he say? He said, then I choose to be here and work at transcending my karma right now, instead of wasting time in going in for some enjoyment but then coming back into pain. So it is each individual's choice. What do you want? Do you want to keep revolving in pain and pleasure? Okay, then you're fine. This world is the perfect place for that. But if you think that I don't want these alternations of joy and sorrow, and inevitably, whether we like it or not, every joy will be followed by some kind of sorrow which matches the energy of that joy. So it is up to us how much we want to get out of this, how sincerely we want, how much mumukshutvam we have, the intense desire for moksha. And because only when we have intense desire will we be able to do the hard things that we are being told to do by Krishna here in these verses. Okay. So, Yogananda ji has talked about the esoteric angle of this shloka. Also, he says, what do you mean by Brahma Loka? He says, when you can unite your consciousness with the Om at the medulla, with the Christ consciousness or Kutastha at the Agya Chakra positive pole, and when you can unite your consciousness with the cosmic consciousness at the Sahasrara, suppose you are, by your intense yoga practice, suddenly you are able to feel that yes, you are that spirit. But if you still have karma which has not been resolved, and if you still have desires and attachments, then you will have to come back and live this life through till you have resolved your karma. So I'm remembering of a story that Swamiji would tell us that, there was this lady who came to, in the initial years of Ananda, she came, and then she was very easily able to see the 1,000-petal lotus in her brain. So when she practiced yoga very, very quickly, and she could do it many, many times, multiple times. And so she thought, oh, this is so easy. So it became, why was she able to achieve such a feat? Is because she would have been a yogi in the past, and she was able to achieve that concentration where she could perceive that light. But the very fact that she has a body and she is in this world means there is pending karma to be resolved, and there may still be desires and attachments. So soon she left the path, and then we don't know what happened to her after that. But the point here is very, very clear, that just having experiences in meditation is not important. It is important that we work through with the love of our heart, with the sincerity. We practice all that we have been told. And also important is surrender and devotion. We do not have any idea what is the baggage of karma that we are carrying. We have no idea from where we are coming to where we are going, but the Guru has the idea, and he has come into our life. He is directing us. Therefore, loving surrender, attunement with the Guru, practicing the teachings and techniques that have been given to us sincerely, regularly, unceasingly, with love. That is the only way out of us. Even when those experiences come, in fact, even when siddhis come, it is said even siddhis will be the obstructions to your final liberation, because even they can make you, strong in your ego. And the spiritual path is about transcending this limited ego and knowing that you yourself are the vast infinite. Okay, so now Master advises here for this. He says, the more the yogi is able at will to gain the higher states of consciousness and to retain them, the longer he is able to hold on them in meditation, the more the binding effect of his karma will be, loosened up. So the more you can experience light in your own being, the master said that the grooves in your brain, which are carrying past samskaras and vasanas and tendencies and all of that, those grooves will be filled with light, and that past karmic seeds will be burnt out. So therefore, more and more meditation, regular meditation, bringing that God communion into our meditation is important, because that will hasten the process of, freeing us from our karmic bonds. Okay. So we now proceed onwards to shlokas 17 onwards, and 17 to 19 have been taken together. Shloka number 17. सहस्रयुग पर्यंत महार्यद ब्रह्मणो विदु रात्रिम युग सहस्रांताम तेहो रात्र विदो जना. 18. अव्यक्तादव्यक्त सर्वा प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्रयागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवात्यक्त संगके. 19. भूतग्रामास एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते क्षत्रयागमे वश पार्थ प्रभवत्यः रागमे. Now in Hindi. So let's do Hindi and English together verse by verse. So verse number 17. जो एक सहस्त्र युगों तक चलने वाले ब्रह्मा के दिन और एक सहस्त्र युगों तक चलने वाली ब्रह्मा की रात्रि को जानते हैं, वे दिन और रात्रि के तत्व के सच्चे वेता हैं. In English, they are true knowers of day and night, who understand the day of Brahma, which endures for 1,000 cycles, yugas, and the night of Brahma, which also endures for 1,000 cycles. So now verses numbered the 17 onwards till the end of chapter, which is like verse number 28. All of these verses are very complex in understanding, but we are helped because we have studied the holy science and we studied the cycle of yugas in the holy science. So to some level we will be held by those, but again, I had to make multiple notes to first make it clear to my understanding and then to be able to present it to you. So let me put it my best shot to simplify as much as I can. So what is being taught here in verse number 17? So firstly, it describes the vastness of time. It says that one day of Brahma is equal to 1,000 Mahayugas. So we know that the yuga cycle of yugas, we have 4 yugas, which is Kali and Dwapar and Treta and Satya. And Sri Yukteswarji has explained that how in a span of 12,000 years, the half of this yuga cycle is performed, and another 12,000 years again, the descent of this through the yuga cycles happen. And this happens because the sun with its entire solar system is revolving around a dual star, and as it comes closer to the center of the universe, which is the intelligence and the spirituality on the planet Earth starts to increase as it goes towards that center. And then we are in Satya Yuga. And when the sun and the planets revolve back away from the center of the universe, then the intelligence and the spiritual level on the planet reduces, and then it is that we move towards Kali Yuga. Now this whole cycle of going up and down takes 24,000 years, and that is called one Mahayuga. And now, so 1,000 of such Mahayugas makes one day of Brahma, and the similar amount of time takes one night of Brahma. So now most people on the planet may think that we are going through Kali Yuga. And we know that the calculation error happened at the time of King Parikshit. King Parikshit was the grandson of Arjuna. So when the Pandavas were retiring to the forest and they made Parikshit king, and his assembly of priests were there, and it is said that Kali Yuga was arriving, but nobody wanted to, declare that Kali Yuga is going to come. So, and in their calculations, what they had confused is that when we talk of the 24,000 years of the Mahayuga, Sri Yukteswarji says that these are solar years, means human years 24,000. But most calculations, what they do is that they calculate that year as the Deva year, means the year of the gods. And 1 year of the gods is supposed to have 365 human years. So if we multiply this calculation of 24,000 into 365, which most calendars are using, we will come to the whatever people are thinking, that they say we are in Kali Yuga, so that is the conclusion we will be in, because according to that calculation, Kali Yuga is many thousands of years. But Sri Yukteswarji has said that these are human years, solar years, and therefore the number of years in each yuga is supposed to be different. Now, the point is, how do I believe this? It's very difficult because we don't know astronomy. So, when I was studying the holy science, I also explored into the astronomy side of this, and I Googled a lot, and amazing things I found, that even the astronomical calculations that Sri Yukteswarji made 125 years ago, and the astronomical calculations that with current telescopes that have been calculated, they are within 7% of error, which means and according to mathematical, astronomical maths, it's supposed to be very close to the truth. So here we are, that we have a person's calculation which are very close to current calculations. And also, so why do I believe Sri Yukteswarji's, element in saying that this is Dwapar Yuga? For two reasons. One is, scientifically, my mind is saying that, oh, this calculation and this calculation is matching. But the second reason is much more important. He is my Param Guru. And Gurur Vakyam Mantra Moolam. So because with all sincerity, I follow the footsteps of my Guru, and therefore I consider this calculation given by Sri Yukteswarji as more logical, more sensible, and more applicable to me. So this is one aspect. So let us not go into the calculation at all. The point is, whatever yuga it may be, whatever cycle of time it may be, we are living life only moment by moment. Only this present moment counts for us. What we are thinking in this moment, what we are saying in this moment, what we are doing in this moment, what is our intention in this moment, what is our vibe in this moment, what is our mood in this moment, all of that is counting. Now, it does not matter which year, which yuga, whatever, it does not really matter. So we can forget that. If we do not understand all those calculations, let's put them on the shelf and live our life moment to moment. Okay. But here, Krishna, in this shloka, why is this shloka given? So that we understand the vastness of cosmic time. We give so much importance to our little life of 70, 80 years. And here, 1 day of Brahma, just look at the relativity. 1 day of Brahma is equal to 1,000 Mahayugas, each Mahayuga equal to 24,000 years of the human life. So let's see our own life in right perspective. That can be one of the aims of this shloka. Then he says that during the day of Brahma, creation is manifested. And for an equal time, which is the resting time of Brahma, the night of Brahma, the creation is dissolved. Pralay happens, and all this creation, it is brought back. Now, wise is he who understands that, that everything, even Brahma, is subject to time. So again, the impermanence and the time relativity is brought in. It is said that you must realize that all that happens in your life is pertaining to time movement, and in the final analysis, time itself is an illusion, because there is one absolute vast truth. And in that, it has been a part of it has been partitioned by Maya to create time and space compartments, which makes us feel that one thing is happening sequentially after the other. The fact is that simultaneously everything is happening, but because we are again living this small life from a human body, we are wearing the human body suit, which has 5 senses, which are very limited, and we can experience only a fraction of the universe at the time. Therefore, we think this is happening sequentially. So a lot is, to unpack this shloka in itself is a lot. The only thing I think we can do is simply just see our life in a light of the greater cosmic cycles of time. Okay. Now we come to shloka number 18. In shloka number 18, Krishna says, Brahma के दिन की प्रभात वेला में समस्त सृष्टि पुनः जन्म लेकर अव्यक्त अवस्था से प्रकट होती है. ब्रह्मा की रात्रि के आगमन की वेला में संपूर्ण सृष्टि अव्यक्तता की निद्रा में डूब जाती है. At the dawn of Brahma's day, all creation, reborn, emerges from the state of non-manifestation. At the dusk of Brahma's night, all creation sinks into the sleep of non-manifestation. So what is being said here? Said all beings, with the help of Prakriti, they are projected. When the day of Brahma begins, they are projected, and this creation, as we see now, starts to happen. Now, when pralay happens, when the night of Brahma happens and everything has to be dissolved back, then it all goes into an unmanifested state. So the seed form, the potentiality of the creation is not lost. It is only resting for a while in a seed state, and this is called the avyakta. So it is there, but it is in the avyakta form, which is the primordial unmanifest form. Okay, so that means all the names, the forms, the function that everybody is doing, that will be dissolved and that will rest in an unmanifested form. And when the next day of Brahma will come, all of that will be projected again from the unmanifest form and be created into again names, forms and functions, creatures and beings like us who will play their role in this Leela. And then again, when the night of Brahma will come, all of that will be dissolved. In shloka number 19, which is a continuation of this, he says, हे पार्थ, लोगों का वही समुदाय बार बार असहाय रूप से पुनर्जन्म लेता है. रात्रि के आने पर उनके पुनर्जन्मों की श्रृंखला रुक जाती है और दिन के आने पर पुनः प्रकट हो जाती है. Again and again, O son of Pritha, the same throng of men helplessly take rebirth. Their series of incarnations ceases at the coming of night and then reappears at the dawn of day. Now, very, very difficult. This is talking about repetition of creation. And he is saying that the same beings who have been now stored in the unmanifest form, like a seed, are projected again in the next day of Brahma. And this cycle is going to repeat and repeat and repeat till each individual being or each soul decides that he or she wants to be liberated or it wants to be liberated. Unless you attain moksha or liberation, you will have to go through these thousands and millions of years of cycles in which you will be born again and go through this cyclical ways again. Death will come, then again you will be reincarnated, again reincarnated for 1000 Mahayugas if you have not attained liberation. Then also you will be put to sleep, and then again when the day of Brahma begins, again this cycle will begin. So it is ad infinitum unless each individual jiva or the separated soul from spirit decides that enough is enough and I don't want to be the cog in the wheel, I don't want to be the pawn in the game of the universe, and I choose to and I want to and I need to be liberated, and therefore I will follow the footsteps of my God-sent Guru now. And then again, don't forget that it's not going to be that you're going to get a human body all the time in this series of reincarnations. According to your karma, you can keep shifting the type of body that you're having. Of course, that also includes good spheres in the astral heavens and the bad spheres in the astral hells. And even on earth, it can be plant kingdom, it can be animal kingdom, it can be any body. So even just to have a human body in these thousands and millions of years of birth and rebirth, that is itself a blessing, because only the human body has the nervous system which it can use to commune with God and to find God. It is that intelligence that you have which can make you ask the truth and seek the truth and say that I want to go beyond suffering. So it is a huge blessing to live in the human body. Now, the problem is we forget this and we do what animals are doing. What are animals doing? Getting up in the morning, looking for their food, searching for their food, eating their food, procreating, and sleeping at night. Now, most billion people on the planet are doing this. This is animalistic existence. What is it extra that you're doing in being human? If you're earning a lot of money, that is simply procuring food in terms of the animal kingdom. All of this you're doing to get food and shelter maybe. But what is it apart from what animals can do are you doing to prove that you are a human being? And the only thing that needs to be done now that we are human is to go into that higher consciousness, into divine consciousness, to know that we are that infinite light living this role right now. Unless we find that truth, the human birth will be in vain. This appears to be a harsh statement, but it is just the truth. This is what the scripture is telling us. We might as well wake up to the reality. And that also, how many years of this life are left? We don't even know that. If death can come any moment, it means any moment. So that means each moment is precious, each day is precious, each thought is precious, each direction of our consciousness is precious. Each day that you meditate or you don't meditate is being accordingly your sense of freedom or bondage it's going to determine that. So be very, very careful and determined to be free right now. We should have the goal of becoming a Jivan Mukta in this life. Otherwise, Krishna has just told you what's going to happen if we do not work for our liberation right now. Okay. Then we come to shloka number 20. Shloka number 20, Krishna says, Parastasmatu bhavo hanyo avyakto vyaktatat sanatana yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. परंतु अव्यक्त से परे वास्तविक अव्यक्त निर्विकार निरपेक्ष है जो प्रलय के चक्रों से अछूता रहता है. But transcending the unmanifested states of phenomenal being, there exists the true unmanifested, the immutable, the absolute, which remains untouched by the cycle of cosmic dissolution. So here, two levels of avyakt or unmanifested are mentioned. So in the previous shloka, Krishna said that all the beings, when they are drawn back, they stay in the unmanifested primordial state. So that is also avyakt because it is not visible. But then Krishna says there is another level of unmanifestation or avyakt, vyaktaha, and that is the true spirit. So even beyond that primordial state of existence, there is the vast, infinite, absolute spirit, which is the final reality. Now, to simply understand this to a very, very basic level, this example was coming to my mind that, a child plays with plasticine. And we've all, as young children, we have played with clay, we have played with plasticine. And suppose, the child is making, out of the plasticine, he's making models of boy, girl, baby, a car, an aeroplane, a road, a house. So all of these forms and names come out of that plasticine and, they form a nice world for the child. And he can, make stories out of it. He can play, as we used to play ghar ghar and doctor, doctor and teacher, teacher. And all of those things can be played with, all of those toys that he has made. Now, let's say the child gets bored. What does he do? He picks up all the boy, the girl, the house, the car, the aeroplane, which had names and forms and functions supposedly in his world. And then he just collapses them all and he makes it round into that round ball of plasticine and he puts it back into the box from where he took out the plasticine. So all the manifested names and forms go back into being the plasticine in its primordial nature, and but it is still there. So anytime the child wants, he can make the boy and the girl and the plane and the car and the road and the house. So again, no names and forms can come out at the will of the child. And then beyond, so one is that the entire objects that were created, for them the unmanifest state is just being the plasticine as it is. But then there is another unmanifested state beyond that, which is the abstract intelligence of the child. It is the abstract intelligence of the child which makes him make thing out of those plasticine, to label them, to give them name, to give them form. And that is the real unmanifest thing. So the toys of plasticine do not know from where they have come. They do not know their nature as plasticine, and they cannot imagine that even higher than that is an abstract infinite intelligence through which I am getting this name and form. So this is a very, very gross and basic example, but it does tell us. Now look at us. We are those toys on planet Earth. So Earth itself is maybe, that small ball on which we little boys and girls and children and adults and olds, and we are walking with so many other things, and we are all lost in this world. But do we know what is our primordial nature? We have forgotten, or we don't realize that this body is just electrons, this prana is just lifetrons, our thoughts are, even what are they? They are just simply coming from light. We do not have any idea about the infinite intelligence that is running, which is making this creation possible, which is making our bodies run. We have no idea. But this is the truth. So Krishna is telling you the truth, that beyond what you see around, when these can go back into the unmanifest, the first level, and then even the higher unmanifest, which is the spirit, which is the intelligence of the universe, from which each one of us has come. So it's good to, and again, why study this shloka? Because it tells you about the immensity of the creation in terms of space, time, and beyond space and time. And therefore, it helps us to detach from the little things, petty things of our life. It makes our mind vaster in its thought process. Because unless we see these things and unless we understand the immensity and the urgency of the need for liberation, we are not going to work for it. Therefore, if we consider all of this, and if we think that we have been caught in this web of being separate individuals for so long, and in stories of Buddha you will find it, he says, you have cried over lives enough to fill all the oceans of the earth. We have had enough suffering, but it is forgotten. That memory is erased. But in this life, we have the intelligence. Not only do we have an innate intelligence to know that we are higher than what we see, but we have the help of the Guru, who is telling us, who is awakening us, and might as well get up now. Or you can choose, he comes and says, wake up, and you say, oh, I'll wake up later. Or maybe you wake up for some time and say, oh, this is all boring, let me go back to sleep again. Again, everything begins with us. The choice is ours, whether we want to go full way to liberation or we want to stop halfway. So for example, simple example, if you want to go from Delhi to New York, but you have various places to visit, you say, okay, let me go to Dubai, let me go to somewhere, and let me stop at London, and maybe then I'll go to New York. But then when you go to Dubai, you are just bedazzled by that place. You really like your life there. It's comfortable, it's pleasing, you've got all the amenities, and you forget that you were to go to New York. It's not going to function. So when we talk of liberation, we have to work till the end, in the sense till we attain that final liberation. Nothing short of that will ever satisfy us. Okay. This brings us to shlokas number 21 and 22. 21. First, they are taken together, so I'll read them together. Avyakto akshra ityuktasta mahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nirvantate tadham paramam mama. 22. Purusha sa parapartha bhaktya labhyastavanyaya यस्यांतास्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्. In हिंदी, पूर्व श्लोक में जिसे अव्यक्त, अविचल, असीम कहा गया है, उसे परम लक्ष्य कहा जाता है. जो मेरी इस उच्चतम अवस्था को प्राप्त करते हैं, पुनः जन्म नहीं लेते हैं. 22. हे पार्थ अर्जुना, एक निष्ठ भक्ति द्वारा उस परम अव्यक्त को प्राप्त किया जा सकता है, केवल वही सर्वव्यापी सब जीवों का निवास है. In English, the aforesaid unmanifested, the immutable absolute, is thus called the supreme goal. Those who attain it, my highest state, undergo no more rebirth. 22. By single-hearted devotion, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, that supreme unmanifested is reached. He alone, the omnipresent, is the abode of all creatures. So, very, very important here. So 21 is pretty much a repetition of what has been said. He's again saying that the final unmanifest, that is who I am, I'm spirit, and that is the final goal. And once you reach there will be no more rebirth. So it's kind of a guarantee being given, it's a promise being given, and we are being told that don't stop short of that. That should be your final goal. Don't stop. If your life becomes a little comfortable, don't stop there. Just like Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, suppose somebody tells you that, oh, there is a sandalwood forest, why don't you go and explore it? And you go and you find that sweet smell of sandalwood and you're so excited. Then Ramakrishna says, beware, don't stop there. Go further on, because you will find a forest of silver. But even don't get enmeshed and stop there. Go further, you will find a forest of gold. But don't stop there. Go further and you will find the forest of, diamond glory. But then keep going till you feel that you are all of it. Till you know. So first, creation, you feel as you progress spiritually, first you feel that this universe is appearing to you. But as you progress and expand your consciousness, you will come to the realization that the universe is being experienced in you. And finally, when you go even beyond that, you will find that you will say that this universe is me, myself. So till we go to this understanding of knowing that all that we see is happening within us and it is us, it is me, myself, there is only one. Till that point, don't be bewildered or tempted by anything that you may see, visions or anything. In fact, even at the time of leaving the body, it is said that you will have visions and there will be angels on one side, or there can be demons on the other side. There will be lights in the astral sphere which will invite you, come here, come here, come here. But don't be deluded. Call upon your guru and he will lead you to where you need to be. So every day, I think we can just sincerely surrender and call upon the Guru and follow his teachings so that we know what to do next. So that we do not unintentionally even involve ourselves into more karmic bondage, because anyway the baggage is so much and we have anyway so much to do. But as it is said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with this step right now, and only this moment counts. Do your best in this moment. Okay, so eventually, what Master says extra here, he's saying that when you are in the avyakta, so once you have attained final liberation, then it can be your choice. You can choose to exist as a separate entity, or you can choose to merge into the blissful consciousness, which is formless and nameless. So, for example, we have the example of Sri Yukteswarji in the autobiography of a yogi, and we know that he is a liberated master, but he has chosen to be in Hiranyaloka. By choice, he is continuing to have a name and form so that he is guiding souls further from the causal world towards liberation. So once you have attained that oneness, once you have realized that all of this prapancha or this creation is me only, then you can have this choice that whether you want to stay a separate entity, or you just like the salt doll dissolving in water. So if there is a salt doll and you put it in water, the salt will just merge into the water. So the souls can choose to be like that, be dissolved in the omnipresent spirit and not have a separate identity. But a liberated soul can choose also to have a separate identity. And we know that on the behest of God, there are avatars who take specific forms and come to earth again and again and again to help all of us souls, who are lost in our way, and we are looking for a way out into our infinite bliss. Okay. Krishna states that this state is reaching my final abode. It is my Param Dham. So whether Vaishnavas may call it as Vaikuntha, or Shaivites may call it as Kailasha. So it is the inner Kailasha, the inner Vaikuntha is a place beyond return, which Krishna is saying. And this, when Krishna says it is my abode, it is my Param Dham, this also means that Krishna consciousness is not an empty void. It is a full divine consciousness, which is a living entity. So God is not just a void. God is a living God. The intelligence around you, every particle of the universe is pervaded by that living entity. It is approachable. You can talk to it. You can see it if you have that spiritual vision. You can commune with it through your meditation. So don't think that going to God and merging with Him, you will become this inanimate thing who has no life at all. You will become eternal life itself. Everything in the universe is a living entity. It's shining with the light of God. And even when creation is not separate and not existing separately, and you are only, you are merging with the eternal bliss, you become Satchidananda. And all of us are seeking to be Ananda. So, इसलिए we should always think of God as someone very near to us, very dear to us, and listening to us. What we think sometimes is when we are praying, we do not know whom we are praying to, where is our prayer going, is someone listening or not. And here, Master is telling us, Krishna is telling us that God is the life of everything. He is as new as he is ancient. He is that beginningless, endless, living reality, which is bliss itself, which has made us into who we are. And we need to now turn back and ascend into that infinite nature. Okay. And also this verse points out that people may think that if I go into liberation, then my being is completely lost. So Master always said that your memory of this blueprint of whatever individual personality you have right now, that can be called upon anytime, because that memory, that intelligent memory, stays in the ether like a hologram or something. And if you want to go back into that personality, it is available to you. So do not think that you will be annihilated once you merge into the vast sea of bliss. Shloka number 22, Krishna says, I'll just finish in a couple of minutes. He says that the Supreme Manifest, the Supreme Purusha, he is pervading everything, and he is attained only by Ananya Bhakti. Again, the same thought Krishna is bringing up. Love me fully. Give me of yourself fully. Think of me all the time, because I love you. Why would anyone want the other person to think of him all the time? Because he is so much love. Because we want to experience love. Because we want to experience bliss. And Krishna is saying, if you want to experience that infinite bliss and eternal love, think of me, love me, give me your life, give me your successes, give me your failures, give me your thoughts, give me your intentions, surrender your life to me, and I will show you what that love is that you're looking for. What is that bliss that you don't know about? Because he himself is that bliss. He is the Satchidananda that we are looking for. And therefore, if we give it our all, we are going to taste that nectar. Otherwise, we will always be lost doing this and that. So therefore, again, let's utilize this life, this day, this moment, this teaching, and the company of the Guru to give it our best shot. And this kind of, loving offering, it transcends all intellectual understanding. The love of the heart is considered to be the most important. Love has its own amazing intelligence. So give your love to God instead of giving it to objects, to people, which are all transitory. So this does not mean that you needn't love people. but love them in the right place, remembering that your true love is God, as is infinite. And these people in front of you are only representing an impermanent and a tiny fraction of that love. So let me give my love to the Lord, and with that love, let me love all human beings. With that thought, let us end today's class and let us send out loving vibrations to souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti Shanti.